like many of you, I enjoy the arts and the sciences. And I never go too far into the art, but I'm drawn back by the science. And I never go too far into the science, and I'm not drawn back by the art. So I wanted to share a couple science poems with you today. These are all from my book, 7370 Allen Drive. I'll put the link in here. And I want to share these with you because I think you hopefully will get a laugh. So this first one is called Science Signs. Reliance on science reduces violence. Science proves ignorance confused. Science grows data. Science cultures a live adventure. Science learning is error spurning. Science gains helps the brains. Science is pro-life. Science equals medical advances. Science is to the world as flashlights are to darkness. Science advances second chances. Knowledge plus knowledge equals science. Ignorance plus ignorance equals ignorance. Science plus humans equal future. Darwin evolved. Edison was a bright guy. Marconi made waves. Nobel got a bang out of research. Sherrington had a lot of nerve. Niels Bohr went at him. Marie Curie had a certain glow. Linus Pauling loved the sea. Jonas Salk stepped up. Feynman was charming. Einstein cared about his relatives. Dr. DeBakey had a lot of heart. Harvey, blood simple. Werner von Braun was uplifting. Pasteur got the little things right. Rosalind Franklin pictured it. Isaac Newton really got down. You can count on Archimedes. Democritus broke it down. Galileo got around. Tesla had a field day. Oppenheimer's drill team. Schrodinger had and didn't have a cow, man. Now this one is a participatory poem. This one, you have a part to play. Your line is, would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? So you'll get the idea. An orbital poem for the technologically advanced. This is called SDI. Can your biorhythms cancel REM sleep? Would your cholesterol metabolism content be counting sheep? Do your misdirected melanomas marvel at the leap? Would you mind if I wrote offline on video varnish sleep? Would your documented study object, you recollect, without reflection, review detection, rescuing the site? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Batteries of flattery flaunt. The heat printer saunters to taunt, whispering casually, printing passionately, warming his ribbon cables over wrapped royal solar collectors. Cables rainbowed in reclination, spiral data decollage detection. Does the paper curl just right? Sticky edges break, curving right? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Would you wise to wander? Could you kind and candor keep the feeling fonder? Does the digital flounder keep parallel data aligned? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Communication miracles help you remember those zip codes, while giant commercial conglomerates rank the urban air at nodes. Do your cancer studies relate to urban blight? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Watching gentle airliners plunge in turbulent wind shear, while underrated radar stains to ping, who's that? Where? Demobilizing scout ships on radar action screens. Has the battery obliged to spend the surging electric leap? Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Stellar lasers mount the rings of accelerator paths. Megacomputers spend the day writing Uncle Sam's bank drafts. Super calculators on rapid oxidators give the raiders something warm. Has the calm bestowed the swarm? Inching ever closer, near to the norm. Hear the walking catfish, headed for the door. Don't let them out there wander, trailing colors, regimental soar, hydrogen alert, bore right here in micro-activated mirth. Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? Missile defenders dancing on fenders re-neglect and break the neck of respect. Grayish dusted, flamed and blusted. Asteroids twist and jest with mysterious zest. Would your quoted survey walk the robot dog tonight? SDI. Now this one's a little different. I want you to imagine that you're about to drive into the National Petroleum Park. We've got a park for this and a park for that. But outside the National Petroleum Park, there's a giant plexiglass plesiosaurus, 100 feet tall, lit from underneath with brilliant lights. And as you approach the park, it says, turn your radio to this station, and this is the message you hear. The Ubiquitous Plesiosaurus, a petroleum poem. Whilst media, meandering the other afternoon, comes comfortably before my eyes a fairly shattering tune. Dearly dying dinosaur, some million years extinct, another prodding punctured pate, and science platitudes shrink and fade. Just a fad, how sad, just a fad, damn bad, just a fad, but I'm glad. The objective state is usually late, it's sort of just fate. Some theories of time, a lesson's digression in slime, new monsters for old, in mythology hold, full, some monsters of old, at the edge of the world, just a little white lie you'll attend till you die. Biology professors, geneticists and chemists, ontology, astrology, psychology and dentists, Marxists and neo-Leninists and feminists. They came to gawk and theorize in diplomas, boats and trains, to publish papers, sell their books, to scandalize campaign. But that old swimmer dinosaur who left these tracks in time, through hydrocarbons haughty hunt, we measure his moves in dollar, dinar, yen, and franc, ruble. How noble. Has he passed for naught? Just ask my fiat. Cars' engines burn from the things that he learned. And as you pass then from this veil, please remember, don't take your tail. And by heaven's rose, we need your nose. And by hex fires, no buyers please, we need the knees. The frozen woolly mammoth and Halley's fiery comet have, you know, one thing in common, that if you ride on them, they were gone, then they come. They stayed, they were delayed, they went round the bend and returned like a bottle for deposit. You see, it's in the bottom clause. It rules out one-way trips, and the management rules out tips. Ruse ignite in black and white, the Ubiquitous Plesiosaurus, petroleum poem. This is one that I was stimulated to write after one more increasing military budget made me think that, some of these people out there don't seem to care about the planet. Imagine that. So I wrote this. A friend said to me, why don't you write something really, really positive? Really, really positive. And I said, you're right. You're right. So I wrote this. It's called NonDisposable World. Picture it. A world without thermonuclear overkill. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. A world after all the bombs are gone. Too far, Mon? Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. No mad generals with pointing digit poise, ears pinned, filled with noise of shouts of doubts. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. A world after the end of biological weapons that fools would send threaten. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. No fanatic, dramatic, climactic climate war. No inversions or floods or earthquake cone crunch. Too much heat then or dry. No clouds in the sky. No rain with lunch. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. No ray guns in space. No thistly, whistly missiles to bless the stratosphere torn or hot heads wind down. Burn after space war. For afterthought, it had meant quite a lot. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. The missiles dismissaled, the sub decommissioned, no reactors out fishing. Picture it. The control boards turned off. Did I hear a scoff? Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. This is a little something for those of us who are a little concerned about the casual corporate science that takes charge of too many of these nuclear sites. It's called Cheery, Barium, Berries. It's a little tribute to Chernobyl, which is still doing its best to change lives. Same thing with Fukushima. Here we go. Cheery, Barium, Berries. Cheery, Barium, Berries. Cheery berries at Chernobyl's reserve, herb halves of adverb salve. The rain in on sweet Sweden has extra spectral vitamins hidden in that Chernobyl tributyle. Swedes heed. Finns concede. Norwegians have seen 'em, heck. They could check the river raft wreck of thermorobal Chernobyl's bubble. Troublin', wobblin', the atomic tumble, radioactive, attractive trouble, concrete cractive, disc detractive. The wind from the east tarried, brought a heck of a beast thought. Fast mass, treat the town down the gown of Chernobyl's trouble and wobblin'. Trouble in double delights crumble. Cerulean blue a fewing, steam a brewing, blue steaming stewing, blue. The way of the winds rescind its wits, with particles stinging, singing, ringing slant. Is it, see? And a bounty of county complaint, aches, lake shakes, snakes flakes, the notice novice can't count. Greater and greater amounts, astounds, abounds about, the counterbounds about. Reflex rejects relay, delay, defray it, saying the government they commends, content to amend, too recent restate relay. Could they append, applaud, amaze the timing out loud of letting and fretting? Let them scare the locals, freeze the freaking yokels, dear laring leer the airs learning words, without anyone scaring. Well, hell's bells swelling tells. Cheery, Barium, Berries. This went a little more toward the philosophy of science. It's called There Is No Ultimate Question. If there was an ultimate question, there could be an end to time's double bend. The spiral helix of when could hardly ever again expose to its friends its hopes or its plans, or suggest what it really intends. No equation ever stops. It hops on and on and on, namelessly, ceaselessly, beating, tail chasing, headaches, the heartaches created by those even counting on toes could hardly suppress just one end by a question of morals. The florals lament, what of the end of events? No ceasing, increasing the doubts in cautious amounts. Uncertainty rising, a constant career. His manners, while wheedling, would blow in your ear to suggest you insist on when. On new horizons of fame, an unlimited game. Even infinity gets tired and hires a cab, calls from his prefab, close its manicured lawn with its large cement fawn. How tacky of infinity, how shamelessly, heedlessly breaking bounds of good taste, how misbegotten on fate. He was more than a little late. But the last question never bothered coming, because he's always next. Bottled bothered, but after living so long to next to never to... There is no ultimate question. This one, I have to tell you, is a tribute to my good brother Robert and Susie. His work I find so amazing, so thrilling, that after hearing so many of these amazing pieces, I thought, I'm going to take just a little drop of that and mix it into my next piece. So this is called In Praise of Parallel Paramecium. Parade parenthetically, posing as perfect petty problems, pitch-perfect paradigms, portend purplish paradiddle paragraphs, painting poised pastel porpoises. villi, vanquished, vanished villainy will vouch for voiceless villagers whose avowed vengeance vibrates in verdant ventures and vainglorious violet voyages. Tilt toward tintinabulating, daintily delicate dendrites, deign to dally daily. Like an oil-spurting charge racing case, the chasing curved curse from peripheral nerves, tiptoeing as they tilt crazily toward the furthest amoeboid overlapping rapper's laughter, in a lurid lurch to encompass and effervesce, digest the rest of the virtual vitiated virus. Here, at this desktop fire, I place these trembling stems till tomorrow. Now, one more for the physics crowd. This is called the dance of shared outer orbital electrons. The dance of molecules, the airy exchange of orbital electrons, the rhythmic coupling and uncoupling across the electron bonds, the spinning, whirling, galloping polka of energy, masked as mere mundane chemistry. Out here in the infinity, the timelessness of the curved space-time of now, gravity, thy world-tending embrace, the intimate intention of the moist friction, a catalyst of character. And as your eyes waft their gilded azure tinted toward the tilted eyes open, eternity. Let's see. Do I have time for one more or two? This one, thank you. This is a piece, I don't know if any of you saw this. In the decimation of the Sumatran forest, some amazing photographs emerged of an orangutan who, seeing a worker who's wandering through the forest that he knows is his home, this human, wandering blindly, dumbly like they do, falls into a pit. And the photo shows an orangutan reaching his hand down to help this forester who's cutting down his habitat. And the orang helped the man out of the hole. And I'm going to contrast that with another picture of an orangutan standing in a broken forest who races to try to threaten a giant earth-moving machine that's about to further destroy his home. And this picture shows this orangutan looking up, raising his arm in opposition to a huge backhoe. And I wrote this. The orang and the excavator. The old man of the forest watched the devastation claim his jungle. He had stayed, waiting, nearly silent. Only gasp and tears betrayed him, as some remove in a hedge or high in some remaining leafy balcony. Each day, as these stinking things returned, bringing the noisy motor, stinking things that tore and gouged and knocked down and broke the trees in twos and threes. His friends had fallen, slowly, noisily cracking and shrieking, complaining and clawing as they fell, and their sisters and friends, hoping it was a lie, as those things crawled all over them. Humble, they lay there broken in the dirt. Then those yellow fiends tore them, chopped them, pushed them, tugged them, and dragged them away. And dragged them away. And dragged them away. Broken trees, Shattered limbs gone, discarded, gone, broken trees, your wisdom splintered. Too young they humbled rubble in the dirt, their broken, battered limbs and fractured bark, broke trunks, shivered out their last breaths, exhaling in the smoke-choked air. Leaves discarded, each paling to fade, shamed in the dirt, no longer collecting their elixir potent. And slowly, these trees cried themselves dry. The leafy forest fell, silent, slipping away during the too quiet night. Yet, those returned each burning, smoky day. More trees fell, and then, homeless, were dragged away. Whither, why, I cannot say. I only know I cannot hide. I cannot quiet wait until my last tree falls, broken by these stinking, noisy things. I shout them mid my angry tears, amid the weeping trees. I shout them, I shout them. But to lighten the mood here, in America, they still think that for-profit medicine is a hell of a good idea. World pandemic be damned. You should pay when you're sick. That's the good way. So I wrote this. It's called, Please Don't Change Our Darwinian Healthcare Industry. Maybe the sick should just die. I've heard them complain on the bus and the train as they cough and they stress, spewing their mess, flailingly, painfully postponing their rest, denying the end, calling on friends. Maybe the sick should just die. All of their screeching has battered my brain, the yowling and moaning and screaming and groaning, the toing and froing, the ugly wounds flowing, without pause or restraint, without plaster or paint. Maybe the sick should just die. They parade to the hospital and clog up the halls. They charade, they're not all well, don't drag us to your hell, with their slips and their falls and their legs in casts as you wheeze and whimper and gasp. They teeter on crutches, slowing me down in the wheelchairs and ramp stairs. They're clowning around, and the coughing and sneezing, the boring old wheezing. My word, it's not pleasing. Maybe the sick should just die. Insurance rates and mental states, implants and valves and stents, upgraded joints and prosthetic limbs. My vision dims. Can't they take a hint? Maybe the sick should just die. Surgeons and nurses and doctors by the score, orthopedists, anesthesists, and more. Pancreas, appendix, replacement kidneys, and those tricks, x-rays and MRIs and ultrasound and radiation. Seems they stop at every station. They're messing up the nation. Maybe the sick should just die. All the pills and the potions, the extravagant notions of fellowship. Stop the commotion, rescind the motion. What a trip, just let her rip. Maybe the sick should just die. Commercials round the clock, drug cures, chock-a-block. Take this, rub that on, just take this stuff. Your pillow's been fluffed. I've had enough. Maybe the sick should just die. If you can't be repaired, society must declare you can't pay the bill. Just take this pill. Maybe the sick should just die. Medicare, Medicaid, even more than we can bear. You'll never have enough. Stop the waste. You're all in bad taste. Maybe the sick should just die.
23 minutes.
Okay. One final one. Let's see here. We'll try to pick a shorty. Oh, yeah. One of my favorites. Okay. How many times have you walked through a museum and you've admired the skeletons? You've seen Tyrannosaurus rexes and Stegosauruses, and I bet there's several of you out there that have seen what we call a Brontosaurus. Well, you've been fooled, my friend. Scientists have recently discovered there ain't no such thing. The dinosaurs that we've been calling a Brontosaurus, you've been misled, is actually teenage Diplodocus. Okay? So, all those, you thought you had them, you had the play toy, your kids play with them. The little Brontosaurus doesn't exist. And it brought to my mind, it's one thing to be extinct, right? We've all kind of coped with that. Okay, dinosaurs, mammoths, woolly mammoths, they're extinct, right? Okay, no problem. But what about even having extinction torn away? So I wrote this. The Bronto that I never saw. Oh, Bronto, so sorry, Saurus, not once but twice removed from us, not relinquished to museum rust, not languished, piano weary, neath a veil of dust, must while away the hours you trust, for far away from us you twice. It isn't really very. Not only do you no longer live, not now, in even that slim aware must give no live, because they said you never did, not even once did breathing live. Deuce duncing life, not ever child, not ever wife, reclaimed once it seemed from ancient mire, now so short in hours retire. Twitch-tossed, great long-tailed beast, 500 tons, weaving through our imagination your lumberings come. We thought you dumb. We saw you 10 elephants long, but we never thought you hadn't come. 'Twas said, 'twixt head and tail, a bristly bundle of fibrous fun, you drove 2 brains instead of 1. You cheated death. You cheated grave. You never even really came. A mis-ID they now are knowing, heard from scientific newscasts crowing. Now they know, now seem saying those in whose mind you once seemed playing. 200 tons, a slowly moving mountain of mistake. You didn't nuzzle the reeds at the lake. You didn't puzzle at the volcanic passion. You didn't stumble through the marshy morning while midst munching grasses muffle yawning. You didn't hug the sunlight strength. You never stretched your tail its length. If you live longer in those to whom the thought of Bronto comes, small pleasure this, then take it comes. You're honored here. If ancient future number, ancient fossils done. And thus, the Bronto I never saw. Thank you so much.